because I always forget. So let me do that. And we are recording. We are live on Facebook. We are live everywhere. I've got my slides. So we are, looks like we're good to go. I hope you all had an amazing holiday weekend. If you didn't have anything to do, you can always listen to my podcast, Success Unfiltered, and get caught up. But hopefully you were out and about. If you were in Southern California with me, it was boiling hot. I'm talking like 100 degrees. I felt like I was back in Phoenix. So I grew up in Phoenix, for all those that don't know that. About me, I went to high school there, I went to middle school, and I went to college in Tucson. And oh my God, like 120 degrees was the average temperature. You could cook eggs on the floor, you know. But I want to get into what we're talking about today, and we've got a lot of good stuff, so welcome back. We are now in September. Happy September. That means it's almost fall. Can you believe it? And a few housekeeping things to begin with. Again, if you can like this video and hit the share button, that means all your friends will see it. That would be awesome. And then also, so you get the reminders that we're always going live, so you guys keep showing up. And, you know, we always have so much going on in our life, so I would like to remind you. So if you type in show in the notes below, that will give you a reminder to join us live. And you are watching Coffee is for Closers. And I got new hats. I didn't even take the sticker off. Here, let me take the sticker off because that looks a little gangster and I'm not like that. So I got new hats. We're going to be doing lots of giveaways for hats. These hats were not cheap. They're very nice. They've got a little bit of a mesh background. Very nice, right? Not background. And so if you want a hat, type what? Hat down below? Type in hat and we'll do a giveaway at the end. And we'll announce it next week who wins. So that means you have to show up next week. See? There's always something, right? So this is Coffee is for Closers. Again, it's a live show. So we are live on Facebook. That's where you can always see the replays. Instagram, you're there for a day. And LinkedIn, you're there for 10 minutes. So sorry about that. But today we're going to go over our signature coffee recipe. Again, this is Coffee is for Closers. So you can bring your coffee, water, tea, margaritas, beer, whatever you would like. And again, feel free to share the show with your friends because we talk about all things sales related here. If you're like a lot of people out there and that word sale has a bad reputation in your mind or, you know, it's like a bad 4-letter word, I am here to change that for you and help you see something from my point of view that you can actually help more people, serve more people, and make a bigger difference in the world once you start to love the word sale. And I show you how to do that without being sleazy, without being pushy, without all that stuff that really got you to probably the place of where you're thinking, oh my gosh, I hate selling, I don't like it. And if you're an entrepreneur, guess what? You signed up for a 24/7 sales job. And I'm here to remind you of that. And I'm here every single week, so you guys can always join me. For September, we're on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays at about 2 o'clock Pacific time, give or take 5 minutes. Probably take 5 minutes. 2 to 2:05 is our start time. But today we are talking about how you can earn your yeses by getting a lot of no's. And we're going to talk about some certain things here today, but what I really want you to know is that the podcast that I have called Success Unfiltered is all about other people's stories on how they were told no, how they overcame being rejected in their professional careers, everything from the beginning stages, middle career, to right before they had their most accomplished no and seen a lot of success in their business or career, whatever it may be. So for those of you in sales, yes, that's you guys. Or for those of you that are entrepreneurs, because you are in sales, I am here to help you take everything I've learned in the last 20 years so you can apply it into your own life and your own business and hopefully grow your sales and help way more people than you are today. Let's go over to the slides. And I'm going to share my screen. So you are watching Coffee is for Closers. And this is about why people said no to you and how to get more yeses. So if you're interested in learning about that, type show in the notes below, share this with your friends, give me a thumbs up, maybe even a little heart, because that will help share this video with more people, which is our goal. So today we are going over Cup of Wisdom. We always have a Cup of Wisdom. And today it's about Garen Jones. And he was my first guest on my podcast. If you haven't met Garen, I'll put in the comments below, but his Facebook page is The Garen Jones Flow. He's got so much amazingness to share that you probably all want to go check it out. Unclear taste of your product. So maybe why are you getting some no's, and just kind of opening that up for you to see how maybe you can turn some of those into more yeses. How to time your order. So when is the time to ask for the sale? We're going to talk a lot about timing. The 4 ingredients to a successful sale. So what that means is there's people that buy, but they buy at different times. So you always have to know where is your prospect at in the buying process, and we'll discuss that. And how to get the perfect blend, and of course, some energy for your soul. So let's talk about the first thing. And like I said, Garen was my first guest on Success Unfiltered. You guys can find my podcast on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Google Play, on my website, thepitchqueen.com. We'll put a direct link in the comments below so you guys can find the direct link right to the website so you can listen to everyone's podcast interview. But I love Garen's because you have to earn your yeses by going through your no's. And when you guys can start seeing this from his point of view and also mine, and you can actually start earning those yeses, that's when things start to shift. And to get a yes doesn't mean, like you're always gonna get a yes, but you have to earn it. And the only way you can earn it is by going through and getting told no a couple times. So you can see, where do you maybe have to work on your craft? Maybe you weren't in the right mind space. There's so many variables, but I love how Garen said it. And there's so many other cool things that we talked about in his podcast interview. So if you want to go check it out, we'll put the link. But he shares his experiences with hearing his first no. It's a really good story. We also went all into his hunt when he was a model. So Garen is the top 1% of Herbalife right now. If you don't know what Herbalife is an MLM company where they sell a lot of amazing products like smoothies and meal replacement shakes and all this other goodness. And it's been around a while. So to get to the top 1% in 5 years, he must have been doing something right. And he shares everything that he's done to get to where he's at today. And Garen talks about how he's rejected 12 times, and that didn't let him stop him in his previous career. He went on to being top in the world, and, he also has been in rock bottom. He lived out of his car for over 2 years, so he talks a lot about that. And he shares how he made little shifts in his mindset to end up manifesting the life that he desired. And when I talk about mindset, it's super important because mindset is really where you believe your sales are going to come from, what your clients are going to think of you, what you think of your own product. So you have to have your mind right before you can really get to the next level. And Garen's got so many great personal development tracks on SoundCloud, so you can check them out there. And the yes is always in follow-ups too. So just because someone might not buy immediately, there's always potential in a follow-up. He discusses a lot about the follow-ups. And Garen also shares a moving story about sticking to your values and how it can make a difference in your life. And when I'm talking about values, we discussed that last week here. So if you missed last week's episode, make sure to check it out. But it's all about values and knowing your worth. Where are you going to draw the line? Which clients do you not want to work with anymore, right? And when you know your values and what you're up to, then you can draw the line on who are you going to say no to? What clients are you going to turn down? What's going to be your minimum pricing? What are the prices of your products? Like, where are you going to draw the line because you know your value and your worth? Very key. Hi, Zara. Thanks for the thumbs up. If you guys are on watching, thumbs up. Please hit the share button. Share it to your friends. And finally, Garen confesses what he'd love to tell little Garen about his life. So that's pretty cool. I ask everyone that question. So again, you can check it out on the podcast, Success Unfiltered. We go into depth. So let's go over the unclear taste of your product and why someone might be telling you no. Oh no, I almost lost my mic. Okay. So the unclear taste. Sometimes when you get told no, it's because you didn't do a good job explaining the why. And the why is how to get your yes from your clients. So sometimes if you're told no, or if someone's like, no, not right now, or I need to think about it, sometimes we don't do a good job at explaining what it is that we do to help them for their why. But we have to remember that our clients have a why. Why are they on the phone with you? Why are they in your store shopping? If you don't understand what their why is, then you might not be able to even help them. So really figuring out why they're talking to you. Why did they email you for help? Why are they interested in your mastermind course? Why are they interested in your monthly subscription kit of fitness equipment? Whatever your product or service is, it really doesn't matter. You have to understand the why. And you need to do your homework to know why and how you can help somebody. And this is very important. So if you're selling more like one-on-one with people or serving people one-on-one, if you don't like the word selling, you can always change it to serving, like you're serving at a restaurant. You can really understand why they're there. And once you can figure that out, that's really where things will start to shift. And I want to share a story with you. We've talked about it a lot, but I love talking about the Vitamin Shop. And I had to explain why me and why my last company, Fitzy Foods, to the Vitamin Shop over other competition. So people, if you're trying to pitch yourself or get yourself into a certain retailer or whatever it may be, there's a why for your client and then there's a why for you. So the why for the client at the time, which was the Vitamin Shop for me, they wanted to know, well, why Michelle? I always had to sell myself and explain the benefits to why did they want to work with me. Well, let me explain it to you. And you guys probably saw with Michael. I always showed up to the calls on time. I came to New York whenever they needed me to. I trained their whole staff. I worked one-on-one with the designers to come up with nutrition labels and all the design inside the store. There is no other company in my space that would have gone above and beyond like I did. That was my why. My why as to why people want to work with me or should want to work with me, that I really want to get across to people, is I will do whatever it takes. I will go above and beyond, and I'll provide a lot of value. And I'll provide a lot of value because I usually go above and beyond. So think about it for yourself today. This is something you guys can totally do right now. Think about the 3 reasons why someone would want to work with you. And if you're in a space with a lot of competition, this is even more important for you to do. Maybe you want to come up with 6 reasons or 5. We can use 5. 5 reasons why people should choose you. That's really important because that's part of your solution to people. With the Vitamin Shop, they wanted to bring in fresh prepared meals. We created a solution to solve their problem. But not only that, they wanted to work with me. And remember, people want to work and buy from people they like, they know, they trust. But really, you have to show people the steps on why. And with Michael in the Vitamin Shop, I was always there. I always showed up to the calls on time. I was in New York all the time. I mean, I practically lived there for like 6 months to a year. I hate the snow. I wanted nothing to do with it. I rode the trains all over New York City, Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit. Like, I did whatever it takes. So write down why you? So when you're on the phone with clients or you're pitching to investors or you're pitching to buyers at a store, you always know why they should choose you, and you repeat it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you need to do your homework on why and how you can help them. So always, for an investor or a store or retailer, depending on your product or service, or an influencer if you're going after one, like why? And I'll give you an example. Okay, so Ty Lopez. Do you guys know who he is? Okay, Ty, if you're watching on Instagram, this is for you. He said he's going to be in San Diego today. I said, well, why not? I'm going to send him a message. I really think Ty has some valuable lessons. He's read like 1 million books, and he's got some great things that all entrepreneurs can implement. And I would love to have him on Success Unfiltered. So I reached out to him on Instagram. I sent him a message at 6:30 a.m. Didn't hear a response. About an hour ago, I saw this option on Instagram where I can send a video. So I sent him a video. I was like, hey, Ty, I would love to have you on Success Unfiltered. I know you're in San Diego today. You're looking for models to model your t-shirts for your t-shirt company. I'll put on a t-shirt and you can take a picture of me with my Pitch Queen hat, whatever you want. I don't even need to get paid any money because he's paying people money. All I would like in exchange for money is for you to come on my podcast and do a 30-minute interview, because I think he's got a lot of knowledge that a lot of people would love to hear. And he wrote back. He said, haha, not today. It's probably not a good day. So maybe I didn't do a good job explaining my why. I sent him another video saying, we can just talk about it today. We can book the 30-minute interview when you're not at the beach in San Diego taking pictures of all these girls and your clothing line stuff. So we can do that a different day. He hasn't responded yet, but he probably will. But again, I'm doing my homework on some influencers that I want to bring to you guys that I think have some value in what we're dealing with sales and being entrepreneurs out and about, hitting the pavement every day. Or if you're in a sales career or job, all of this is extremely important because you can use these skills and implement it anywhere. So, know your why, and when you reach out to people, they respond, right? I mean, he's got like 8 million people on Instagram, and he read my message and responded. That's pretty cool. And I know it was him because he's on his phone all day long. Right, Ty? Anyway, make your info clearer and better. Those are very, very key tips, okay? So we're going to move on, and we're going to go into the timing of your order. And I think this is really important because some people, when you talk to them, they might not be ready to enroll in your program. They might not be ready to buy your services or products. It really depends on what you're selling, but we're going to get into, there's 4 different stages when people will buy, so you can actually reduce the amount of no's you get to get more yeses if you can figure out what stage in the process your prospects or people are in when you're talking to them. So it's really cool. But some people just need more time to think about it. Or your value proposition wasn't valuable enough. Maybe your why wasn't strong enough. Maybe their problem wasn't big enough and they didn't need your solution. There's so many variables, and we're going to talk about that over the next couple weeks. But 50% of leads are qualified but not yet ready to buy. So that's a very interesting fact, and I do believe it's true. Of all the things I've sold and people I've pitched, it is, I would say that this ratio is pretty true. You've got to be patient and ask for the yes later. And I had this idea like a couple weeks ago. So you guys all know Amy, right? Amy's the bomb. And her and I are doing this asking challenge. So I am asking for all random stuff. Like I'm going to ask 100 different people, different ways. And I'm going to show you how when you practice asking out in the real world, you're going to start asking more for the sales. Or you'll start asking that challenge of asking for someone's credit card or asking to get into a retailer or asking for $250,000 investment with confidence, you will be very confident. So I'm going to put all those videos up on YouTube, and some of them are kind of funny. So keep an eye out on my YouTube channel. It's the Pitch Queen, and you'll see it. But I think we're going to call it like how to implement what I'm teaching you. But really the bottom line to really growing your revenues is you have to start asking. and you can start practicing in the real world. So make sure to check out the YouTube channel. We'll put the link in the comments below too. And just because you ask once doesn't mean you're going to get an answer. You might have to ask twice, 3, 4 times. And we've discussed that in the past where you might have to make a call. You might have to send a text. You might have to send an email. You might have to send them an article that your prospect or client would have really liked. Like with Michael, we always talked about entrepreneurship and we would talk about podcasts. And, we built this really deep relationship that when I ask for something, it's typically always a yes. And you can set yourself up for that success on getting a yes. So let's talk about the 4 quadrants. So I interviewed Percy Knox on Success Unfiltered, which is my audio-only podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and everywhere else. And I really, really, really love this because this credit goes to Percy. I always give credit when it's due. So there's a book called Strategic Selling. And there's 4 quadrants where people are at when they are looking to buy something or just in general. And when people are in that pain quadrant, they are more likely to purchase and buy at that time. So the gain is one quadrant where your client could be in. Status quo could be another one. Pain, that's the good one to be in. And overconfident, they might be overconfident. Percy and I go into depth in this interview. It's not out yet, so when it is, you guys can check it out over on my website, thepitchqueen.com. But if we talk about the vitamin shop example, the vitamin shop was looking to differentiate themselves. They wanted to be different than the competition. A lot of supplement stores don't have perishable food, right? They all have supplements and things that last on the shelf for 6 to 12 months. They have protein powder and energy drinks and protein drinks and ready to eat drinks and all those other things that last a long time, but no one jumped over the hurdle to get into perishable foods. So Vitamin Shop at the time, right, this was 3 years ago, they were in a pain situation. They wanted to be different. They wanted to differentiate themselves. They wanted to be innovative. It was the perfect time to explain why me. So I had all my reasons why me. And that's how we were able to get $1 million. It wasn't really an investment. They spent over $1 million on this test project. But I was able to overcome and have a huge company, okay? This is like multi-billion-dollar company, remember? Get from a pain over the hump, like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, right? Until he had a great fall. To get over that wall, we needed to really be able to deliver on a promise. That wasn't an easy promise to deliver on, and we did. But my point is that the vitamin shop at the time was in this quadrant. If the vitamin shop was in status quo and they were cool with what they're doing, then all I'm doing is talking to a bunch of ears. Like they're not really listening. It's not very interesting. They're never going to do anything and I'm probably wasting my time. So if you can figure out which quadrant your people are in, go get the book, read it, Strategic Selling, great book. You can find it on Amazon. And also listen to the interview I do with Percy, probably in October and November. So those are the 4 quadrants, and it's very important to know where you're at. So again, the whole point is to get more yeses and to reduce the amount of no's. But sometimes you have to go through your no's to get to the yeses. All right, moving right along. How do you become the perfect blend? So sometimes there's something blocking your client's ability to say yes, right? It might be one of those 4 quadrants. It might be that they're in gain, they don't need anything. They might be just status quo, or they might be in overconfidence. They're not in that pain quadrant. So that means maybe bad timing, maybe it's too expensive, maybe if it's too expensive, they didn't understand the value. That's typically what it is for if it's too expensive. Your why wasn't deep enough for them to spend the kind of money that they wanted. And I'll give you an example, okay? You know, I work with baseball teams, and we sell like a high-end service catering to teams in Major League Baseball. I work with all the dietitians and a lot of the travel people in baseball. We've got a month to go in baseball. And there's a few teams in the league that pay us a premium for our service because they like the value. What is the value? My partner's a chef. He travels the country literally, and we work with local caterers to produce food for these athletes. That's pretty cool. That's valuable. The team doesn't need to worry about delivery of food. They don't need to worry about the quality. We have everything under control. It's very similar, like if you like to shop like me and you want a personal shopper, you go to Nordstrom, you can get a personal shopper. You're going to pay a premium for the value of that service. Same like these teams are paying us a value for that service. Well, today or last week, a team called us. They got our number. They needed help in a city. And today they told me it was too expensive. I literally got this exact example. It was too expensive. I said, no problem. You know why? Because the pain that they were in, if I look at the quadrant, he wasn't in enough pain for me to solve his problem. To pay a premium for value and for us to go there and provide the service and do every meal and he doesn't have to do anything, that's not valuable to him. For him, he could go do it for himself cheaper. More power to you. Sometimes your clients that you want to work with are not a good fit for you. This person, great person, but it just wasn't a good fit. If you want to do all of that coordinating and you want to deal with the deliveries and figure it out and make sure the food's at temperature and make sure it looks beautiful for your guys, by all means, someone is going to do it and someone is going to spend their time and someone's going to get paid to do it. It wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. My point is that sometimes a no or it's too expensive means not right now. He said he loved the menu. He loved how on top of it we were. He loved the service. It just didn't fit their budget this year. Well, I can call them in a month, see if they can increase their budget for next year, and then we can work with them every game. Again, I have to get to the value of what they were looking for. And right now, it was just on price. Like, he could do it for cheaper, go for it. Then you don't need us then. We're not the cheapest ones on the block. And when you can get that and know your value, know your worth, we talked about that last week if you need a refresher, then there will be nothing in the way of your client saying yes to you when they see the value. So how to get over the obstacle with your clients? You got to listen to their concerns. That's number one. I listened to his concerns today. This literally just happened this morning. I listened and I just had to agree with him. There's nothing I could have done because I'm not going to lower my standards. And that's one thing you never want to do. Do not lower your pricing just to meet someone else's needs. That's not you. That's not who you are. Those are those 5 things you were supposed to put together last week. So if you didn't do that yet, review last week's episode and put those 5 values down. What are the things that you're not going to accept from your clients, or what are those standards that you're going to set for yourself? And be realistic and realize that, you're not going to be the perfect fit for everybody. And that's exactly what happened this morning. We were not the perfect fit for him. We have a great relationship. I'm going to continue to build the relationship and rapport because earlier we talked about 50% of more sales comes in follow-up. So if you actually act on the follow-up, your sales will increase. So make sure that you have a good follow-up plan in place. All right, and remember, a no is not a rejection. It's a redirection. And I love that. It's an unknown quote. We don't know who wrote it, just said unknown. But I love it because a no, you guys, when you get really, really good and you just feel really confident, it just is like not right now, or a redirection. And every single podcast episode, we talk about people getting told no and being rejected. So you guys can watch that, or not watch, but listen to it there. And again, it's just a redirection. It doesn't mean no forever. It's just not right now. So put a good follow-up plan in place and just make it happen and take action. So your things for you to do today are figure out when what quadrants your clients are in, right? And really figure out your why And what's your why for you and why someone will want to work with you? So that's all I've got for today. It's been awesome hanging out with you. Do we have any questions? It doesn't look like it. Any on Instagram? If you guys missed this today because we changed the time, type in show in the notes below so you get the reminders, because reminders always help. We're always busy, but you can catch me. I do this live every week, even with 0 people watching or with 10 people. I like to have 10 or more, like the more the merrier. It's always more fun. But if you watch this later, if you don't mind just hitting the share button and share it on your page, I would be grateful. I will see you guys next Tuesday. That is the 12th, right? Yeah, the 12th. And have an awesome day. Keep serving your people. Keep smiling and really focus on what we talked about today. I think there was a lot of really good value that you can implement right away and keep making a bigger difference in the world. I'll see you guys next week.